today's video, we'll be revealing the secrets and the strategies to landing your dream job in tech, focusing on remote work. Now, I'm specifically doing this because this person asked me to. So let's get it. You gotta get into tech. All right, y'all. So like I said, we're gonna be talking about how we can help you land a dream tech role. Specifically, remote is what I'll be talking about, but there will be obviously some correlation that you can use if you're going in office as well. So I did want to talk about the rise of remote work just for a second, and then we'll dive right in. So when you think about the trend of remote work, I mean, it's been around for a while, right? But if you've been in corporate America, then you know that it didn't really kind of show up, at least for everyone else. Now, C-level suite, they work remote, and CEOs and things like that, they're always on the go, but everyone else kind of was in the office, right? Until the panic happened. Now, once that happened, it really changed a lot. That, I know for me, I was not in the tech industry at the time, and that's when I first got my experience in remote work, and I was like, man, where has this been all my life? I would have been in tech or wherever I could just to have a remote job, but it doesn't always work out like that sometimes. So I did want to talk about some benefits and some challenges of remote work. Sometimes you only think about the benefits or your benefits and not necessarily the full picture. I don't have a lot of time to really go deep on this subject, but I just wanted to give you a few pros, a few cons, and then we'll move on to the stuff. So when you talk about benefits, right, the first one that comes to my mind is just no drive time. Working in corporate America, you really have to drive everywhere, and I live in big money Texas, so everything is spaced out, everything is far away, right? So it's not uncommon to literally be driving 30 minutes, an hour to get to your job. I've done both, and it's just commonplace. Now, that's going to work. Now, coming back from work, that's a totally different story. If somebody wants to play bumper cars in traffic, now that hour turns into an hour and a half just trying to get home. So you're spending multiple hours doing nothing, really, just sitting in a box on your way home or on your way to work. And so a big benefit of working remote is you don't have to do that. You can literally wake up and go right into your other room, and boom, you're set. You're ready to go. You're ready to get started. That's really giving you more time with loved ones, more time to just be at home or be with be to yourself. If you want to take an extra time to go and grab a coffee or to sit and drink your coffee and watch TV a little bit or whatever, learn a little bit, study before you start work, you can do that because you don't have to account for the hour drive getting to and from work. All right, so another benefit that I would say is really good is timeliness. When you speak about that 30 minutes or the unreliability of traffic, right, you never know what you're gonna get, and you might wake up late or whatever the case may be. Timeliness is another benefit. It's kind of hard to be late when all you're doing is getting out of your bed and then walking to your office and pressing start on the computer. Now, I don't know how much easier it can get, right? Now, that being said, I do know some folks. I ain't gonna say no names. Y'all know who y'all are. All right, so challenges. I did want to give a few of these, like I said, and the first one is the increased need for meetings. Okay, so I've talked about this in another video that I did, but meetings can take up a boatload of your time. Okay, I don't know what the true reason is, but it just seems like upper management and leadership, they have to overcompensate for you not being in the office and them being able to see you with tacking on a boatload of meetings. And sometimes it seems like the meetings are just for no reason, really, or this could have been an email, I promise. But that being said, either way, you're going to probably have, more than likely, a lot of meetings, and that can really eat into your actual work time. And so you're really going to have to learn how to balance the meetings with what you do for work and how to get that stuff done in conjunction together in order to be successful in the role. And so that does go up quite a bit when you're working remote. And then one that you might not necessarily think about until, you know, it works for you, but then when you're actually using it for work, it might not be right. And that's just an unreliable internet connection. You might be used to your janky internet or just your slower internet speeds, and then you realize like, oh wait, at work we have a really dedicated line, or we have strong internet. It doesn't really go out. At home, it could be a different story. So depending on where you live, you can have a slower internet speed that might not be up to par with being able to work from home, and that's really not a good look for somebody that's trying to get Employee of the Year. All right, so next we're going to talk about job search platforms. So when you talk about job search platforms, I'm a huge proponent of LinkedIn. LinkedIn, it literally gives you everything on a silver platter, okay? I'm talking about 925 silver. When you have a role, you can search by remote only, you can search by your area, all these kind of things that you can filter out to get your specific thing that you're looking for is really helpful. Not to mention, every company is on LinkedIn, so you're able to not only go to the job listing and see what the details are and what it entails, you can apply directly from LinkedIn, or you can go to that company's LinkedIn page. Most of the time they have a whole like section where they're showing videos of the company culture so that you can get an idea of that. You can go to the other roles. You can even find people who actually work for the company. And that's huge when you can reach out to the right people and say the right things and get an interview. You just really can't do that almost anywhere else. Now, there are other ways to find emails and do all these things, but like I said, LinkedIn, they're already right there. You can see what they look like, all these kind of things. So that's my favorite. I did want to tell you some other resources that are specifically tailored for remote work, and I wanted to show them to you on the screen, okay? And that's gonna be remote.co, We Work Remotely, and Flex Jobs. I'm gonna hop in the computer and show you all of these. This episode is brought to you by Course Careers. You've been thinking about getting into a new career and going into tech. Now is the time. Course Careers is the easiest and most cost-effective way to do it. And the best part is there's no degree required. Click the link in the description below or scan the QR code. And if you want to support the channel, use the code TREY50 at checkout for $50 off. Look, everybody wins. Let's get back to the show. All right, so this is remote.co. As y'all can see, they got remote IT jobs, remote design jobs. All these roles are for tech for the most part. QA, you got remote sales jobs. Let's go in here. Look at that, commercial account executive, enterprise account executive. So all good stuff here, all remote. All right, We Work Remotely. Another place to find remote tech jobs. So I'm going to the top trending remote jobs. Check all these out, y'all. Again, don't worry about all the people who have applied. Just know that these are some remote workspaces, and there's plenty to go around. Last but not least, you got Flex Jobs, y'all. Another place to find fully remote works. Now, also they do have hybrid, so I won't say all fully remote, but nonetheless, these are tech roles that have remote jobs available that you can check out. All right, so we're at number 4, and that's gonna be resume and cover letter tips. So when it comes to resumes and cover letters, it's all about crafting them to a tailored fit. If you really wanna do this right, if you really wanna get hired as fast as possible or get the top role or the best role that you can, you're going to have to tailor your resume specifically for what that job is wanting. They're going to tell you what they want inside of their job listing, right? And the job listing tells you everything you need to know to tailor your resume to that job listing so that you'll have a better chance of getting callbacks, of getting interviews, getting to that second, that third round, and ultimately getting that offer letter. And with that, you want your resume to have the right keywords. When you have the right keywords, that's going to make sure, or at least help you get past the ATS software, and that's making sure that it can actually reach their hand. Sometimes people get discouraged over seeing 200 people applied to this position or whatever else it is. Like, you know, sometimes it's like 30,000 people have applied. But what I tell them is that most of those people don't even make it past the ATS. Okay, that software is looking for specific words, and if that resume does not have it in there, it's instantly booted out. Like, they don't even see those resumes, right? I mean, just think about it. How can they actually look at 300 applications? Most of the time, they're not doing that, y'all. They're looking at a select few, and that's because the ATS software has gotten most of them out of the way. One way to make sure you're one of those select few is to have the keywords in the resume. So one way to do that is to go through the job listing, pick out all the keywords and add them into your resume. It's definitely time consuming, but that's one way to do it. There is another option. I've created a tech resume guide that can help you tailor your resume to these tech companies that you're trying to get a job for. It's designed to help you get past those ATS systems and get those applications into the hands of the people who make the decision. And it will help you get your application past all the other people's because theirs does not have the right information inside of it. So with that, always apply, even if you see 100 people apply to a role, because most people won't even make it through anyway. So to get the guide or to get the plug and play, go ahead and get the tech resume templates at this QR code or in the description below. And I forgot to mention, there's the resume cover letters, there's templates for single page resumes, 2-page resumes. It's a bunch of stuff, right? So anyways, go over there and get that if that's something that you want to do. It can definitely help speed up the process. All right, so the next one is networking strategy. In the tech industry, any industry, but specifically the tech industry, it's extremely important to make sure you're networking. All right, or if you already have a network, make sure you go back through it. You never know. Keep tabs on people. You never know what industry they're in, what role they're in, what company they're at, right? You could already know someone who's at the company you're trying to get at, and all they have to do is say a word saying like, hey, I know a person, and boom, you're in there just like that. And you didn't have to do half the work that most people do, right? There is a such thing as nepotism, but I always say, if you don't like it, become it, right? Help somebody else get in. Do that for somebody else. Ultimately, relationships do matter. And if you know someone, it can change the trajectory of not only your life, but just literally one word can change everything for you. So networking can definitely help in the remote job hunting process. If you don't know anyone, you went through your contacts, you went through everybody you know, and you're like, nobody's doing that, start connecting online. You know, we spoke about LinkedIn earlier. It's a great place to connect. It's a great place to build a network. That's what it's for. So get on there, start posting a little bit about what you're into, what you're looking to get into, all the articles and things that pop up, repost those, get on people's pages that are actually talking about these things and conversate with them. Build relationships, go and follow and be a part of recruiters who are in that industry that you're trying to get into or that work for that company. Go talk to them, be on their things. You never know. Sometimes recruiters are literally posting like, hey, we're looking for this type of person. If you've already been in contact with them, you've already been conversating with them, guess what's going to happen when your name pops back up in their LinkedIn post saying, hey, I'm interested? They're going to instantly connect with your name because why? You've been conversating with them for the last 2 months. So you've been commenting on their posts. You've been liking their stuff. You've been reaching out. Connect, connect, connect. Your network is your network. Remember that. All right, the next one is interview preparation. So when it comes to preparing for remote tech jobs and the interview, it's literally the same as if you were going in. You want to know something about that company. Don't go in blindly and just not knowing anything about the company, not knowing anything about the job role. Really, y'all be surprised. There are people who, hey, I saw the dollar amount that this job was offering, I'm applying for it. And then they get into the interview and they don't know a lick about the industry. Y'all, I'm telling you this, you can do that in corporate America. You can fudge your resume. You can act like you don't know the information. You can say things like, yeah, you know, I'm aware of this. My job didn't do it this way. So, you know, I just want to learn the way y'all do it, right? There are people who do that. That can work everywhere else. In the tech industry, right? Some of these roles that you're going for, you're going to have to show them that you know this information in the interview. So if you get there and they ask you certain things, or you're taking a test, or you're having to do a mock call, if you don't know certain things, they're gonna know pretty quick. And guess what? You ain't getting that job. So make sure you're prepared on what kind of role you're going after. Make sure you know a little bit about the company, right? When were they established? Who's the CEO right now? Like, right? Who are you even talking to in the interview? What's their mission statement? You don't necessarily have to know it by heart, but these are things, if you really want to stand out in the interview, how can you correlate their mission statement with some of your answers that you're saying inside of the interview? These are all things that stand out and make a difference, right? And that's what you're looking for, that slight edge. There's a book called The Slight Edge. That's what you need. The winner of the Kentucky Derby horse race, doesn't matter if it's 0.2 of a millisecond. Think about that. The slight edge. So outside of that, also some other tips is it could be a remote position, but sometimes they might have you drive in to the office to do the interview. So if that's the case, maybe a few days before the actual interview or the day before, drive out to the actual location. Make sure you know exactly where it is. It'd be ridiculous for you to try and guide your way there and then you realize, like, I don't know where this building is located. Now you're running short on time. Guess what? You're gonna come in the interview flustered, rushing, and that's just not a good space you want to be in. If I can help it, I don't want to rush to do anything. I want to take my time. I want to be as calm as possible. Why? My mind is clear. I can think better. It's not flustered and cluttered with everything else. So show up a little early, a day or two early, learn the navigation, how to get there, and you'll be good to go. Oh, I forgot. So even if it's a Zoom interview, y'all, listen to me. Please dress appropriately. Sometimes you talk to recruiters and they tell you some stories, man. People show up on these Zoom interviews, right, just because it's on the camera and they show up looking any kind of way. You still want to dress up, right? Even if it's just from the top up, okay? I'm not judging, but at least put on an iron shirt, dress presentably, make sure your background is tidy and don't have a lot of stuff in there, because guys, these people are looking at that. How you present yourself, all of that matters, right? So you want to make sure you just do the little thing. Remember, the slight edge. So the next one I wanted to talk about is just some remote work skills, okay? So you're looking for these remote tech jobs and you're trying to get out there. Just remember, also make sure you have some of these skills, right? You want to be a great communicator, not just in word form, but also through email, right? You're working remote, so you're not always going to be sitting next to someone. You're going to have to send emails. You're going to have to send chats. You're going to have to really talk to people and understand how to communicate. So that's going to be huge. Work on that. That's one of the biggest skills that you can work on, is communication. And the next one is going to be time management. So when you think about time management, guys, again, we're not in the same space. So you're going to be doing all these things from wherever space you're at. Sometimes that can mess with your mind, right? You think you have more time than you actually do. You get a little lazy. You want to make sure that you're self-motivated. Do you have drive? There's not going to be someone hovering over your back. You're going to be a grown person in this role, okay? So you want to make sure that you're self-motivated and you're able to really handle the job that they've given you. They're trusting you with this. They're there for you, but they're not trying to be all in your space. They're trusting that you're going to get the job done that they set out for you. So make sure you do that. And one way to, again, really stand out is to make sure you demonstrate all these things in your interview so that they can know, like, yo, this is a great candidate. All right, guys, so we talked about resume and cover letter tips, remote work skills, networking strategies, all these things. If you put them all together, it will help you land your dream tech job. I hope you find it. I hope you get it. You got this. Just put in the work and you'll see the results. I'll see you in the next one.